Hello, I am Amanda Joy and welcome back to The A-Team. With me, of course, I have Demi Lobo, pop artist and radio personality. Sitting next to her, just Drew. Underscore. So, we just want to get right into the meat and potatoes of it. I know you've probably heard about this already, but Tyler Perry, Spike Lee have a little bit of beef going on. And what I did research is this actually goes back a couple of years. Spike Lee made a comment saying that Tyler Perry films and his shows are a bunch of coonery and buffoonery. Recently, Tyler Perry responded saying Spike Lee can basically go to hell. So I side with both sides. I think that my stance is pretty much Spike Lee is saying that it is quite silly. Most of his movies are quite silly as far as Tyler Perry goes. I think that he's playing a little bit too much on the humor, the stereotypes of African Americans and their family members, and that's what Spike Lee is trying to say is coonery and buffoonery. However, I think that the way that he said it may have come off a little bit spiteful, a little bit hateful, and it may have been a little bit of
envy. Big time envy.
So I want to take it to the A-Team and see what you guys think about that.
My personal perspective on it is that, you know, it's almost as if Spike Lee owns this Godfather kind of feel of things, as in, you know, between 1980 and now, you know, Spike Lee and Tyler Perry combined probably have 80 to 85% of what we think of black culture when we go to the cinema.
Right.
And so for Spike Lee, to have come out, you know, have to have been there first, kind of settled in, and kind of the face of what black people expect when they go to the movie theaters and what they want to see. So, you know, when you got people like Hype Williams and Spike Lee, and they come in, you know, Malcolm Lee coming up through the 90s, and it's kind of like, you know, all the money that they got for that time period. You know what I mean? Just like we were talking earlier, you know, Spike Lee got the money he needed because he went so far over from Malcolm X. The only difference is your time is kind of in the shadows now. It's almost like an eclipse. And it's just that Tyler Perry, I think, is making the moves that, you know, have put him in a class of his own.
Nicki Minaj,
it's the same.
I think that he just feels like someone owes him a little bit of respect.
Exactly.
Someone should say, this is who paved the way for me, let me pay homage. And I think that's where that spite comes from. Tyler Perry didn't necessarily say that. So Spike Lee feels like not only are you playing upon these stereotypes, but you're not even really basing what it should really be about as far as black cinema goes. You're taking it a little bit.
But to play on what Andrew was saying is that was okay for that time period. You know, Spike Lee made that money for that time period. If Spike Lee did the same movies now, who's to say if it would make the same amount of money, you know? And I feel like if Spike Lee felt that way, then he should kind of guide Tyler Perry then. Kind of like what Madonna is doing with Lady Gaga. Madonna is guiding her on the right path.
And see, I agree with you and I disagree with you at the same time. You know, like I said, it may have that Godfather type feel to the whole situation. And it's just like, why would I help you when you so ignorantly passed me up? You know, I mean, without the recognition. But at the same point, I'm with you because you got Steven Spielberg, Michael Mann, they work together.
But if Spike Lee really cared about, you know, coonery, buffoonery, taking it back to black culture,
he would help out Tyler Perry.
Not only would he save that, but he would acknowledge all the things that Tyler Perry is doing for the African American acting community.
Exactly. And all of the majority of these African American actors that are just getting started, Tyler Perry is discovering them and finding them and grooming them and giving them jobs that Spike Lee is not giving them right now, or any other director for that matter is giving them. Tyler Perry is giving these young black actors their first start
and that's what he's doing with his new plentiful money, while that Spike Lee is recycling money through older actors. It's just such a wishy-washy.
It's a play the fence type of thing, but overall I think I'm going to take the side of Spike Lee because he is doing a lot of good things. Tyler Perry is doing a lot of good things for the acting community. He's employing a lot of African American actors where reality is taking over.
Right.
However, at what cost? At what cost? You're making, overall, there's a stereotype that we're playing upon over and over and over with Medea. So what is the cost? We're employing all these African Americans, but how is it making us look? So
just go watch the movies.
I'm just gonna wait for that.
Support
both.
Just laugh.
What we come down to is there should be some type of working together.
Exactly.
I think that if it wasn't for all of this hate, I'm not even gonna say hate per se, but hating on someone else because maybe they have surpassed you, envy, then I think that people could work together. And what type of movie would that be with Spike Lee and Tyler Perry?
Right.
That's what we need right now.
Epic.
Shanae and Wanda.
We need something. That's not the same. We need something epic. So that is the A-Team. That's how we feel about Tyler Perry and Spike Lee. Keep watching. We have more for you in store.